This table talk is made possible by Mental Health Matters, a newsletter from themighty.com. I'm Ashley, and I am joined by,
I'm Skye.
I'm Kat.
I'm Camara.
and today we are talking about sleep and our mental health. I do not know about you all, but having bipolar disorder, the thing I've noticed that helps above almost everything else besides taking my medication regularly is having a very strict sleep schedule. I notice immediately, just in general, I do have to stick to a routine for a lot of things to keep my mental health under check. But if I am getting less sleep, if I move my bedtime, I particularly notice on weekends that if I sleep in too long, same effect. I have to kind of stick to that same routine because then that whole day or the days following, depression is off the charts and I can't do all of those checks and balances that I do that kind of keep me in my best state. So I guess I wanted to know from everyone else, how does that work for you? Skye, do you want to talk about sleep?
Yeah, I love talking about sleep. I also live with bipolar disorder, and I agree it's a great way to keep my moods regulated. I've also been dealing with insomnia as since I was 8 about when developed really bad anxiety. And that's when experimenting with sleep medication started. I always had that problem even as a kid. I had trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. And in addition to that, since childhood, I've dealt with chronic fatigue as a symptom of everything else I deal with. So it's been tricky to find that right amount of sleep, especially if you out there like me get panic attacks in your sleep. That happens sometimes. That's super fun. But yeah, as a kid, I remember the first time I watched Jay Leno, I was just up all the time, and it was really hard dealing with that, and then trying to go to elementary school the next day, and none of my peers had that issue. I remember when the Jay Leno Conan O'Brien Tonight Show debacle happened. I saw it all happen in real time. And that, yeah, as a kid, it's just really difficult to try to keep up with everybody else when you're dealing with that.
You brought up something there that I'm just curious about from everyone. Do you find it more difficult to fall asleep or to stay asleep or both?
I feel like for me, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't fall back asleep. So, the great thing about my medications is they allow me to go to sleep very easily. I don't have a choice. I take them, and about an hour later, good luck asking me what my middle name is. But if I'm asleep and I get some type of, usually it's pain that wakes me up, falling back asleep is like my biggest nightmare for sure.
I think for me, the biggest thing is falling asleep. Like once I'm asleep, I feel very grateful. I'm a deep sleeper. I can sleep through many a thing. There's one night of a month where I can't sleep at all because of the pain. I won't be able to fall asleep, even if it's just slight pain. My body's like, nope, you're not gonna be able to fall asleep tonight. So those nights are not fun. But I've learned that my body is has decided sleep is a must for us. We like it for our mental health, for our physical health. You're gonna get at least 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep. No doubt about it. We will sleep through alarms. We will sleep through anything to make sure that you're getting the sleep. I realized I think I just like sleep.
Wait, is 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep your sweet spot to feel okay? That seems like so little. Is that what feels good?
For me, what feels good is 7.5 to 8 hours, but my body won't let me wake up earlier than I think 6.5 hours usually.
Wait, now I'm so curious. Sky, Ashley, what's your optimum number of sleep hours?
I'm a fan of 9 hours, which I can't stand because it's an odd number. But in college and stuff, I only slept 3 to 4 hours a night at most. And it's been great, post graduation, post my theater, academic career, actually getting to fulfill, actually get that 9 hours of sleep. But that's become my sweet spot as I work full time.
For me, so my Fitbit and me will tell you a different story because Fitbits track the little moments that you wake up during the night that you're tossing and turning, even if you don't consciously wake up. So that's going to be slightly different, but I usually aim I'm thinking, yeah, I usually aim for about 8 hours. It usually tells me I'm asleep for just under 7 of that, but like I'm always trying to get to bed like roughly around um 10 to 11 range so that I get up at 7 every day. Like I try to stick heavily to that as much as I can.
If I get less than 8 hours of sleep, like it's real bad. I feel like I have like the opposite problem of a lot of people. So like for instance, if I'm depressed, I like sleep is not something I gravitate to. In fact, and please no one throw tomatoes at me, but I don't like sleeping. And I like I don't know why. Like I do not like to nap. I don't derive joy from it, but I also know that if I don't get enough sleep, my mental health is like greatly affected by how tired I am, because I physically feel terrible, which makes me really anxious and then makes me depressed, and then the cycle kind of starts all over again. So like that 8 to 10 hours does it for me.
Can I just say I really relate to what you're saying about like not liking needing to sleep, like fatigue with, mental and physical health conditions. That's the thing I'm always the most self-conscious about. And I've had family and friends be like, "Oh, you're always so tired. You're so lazy. Like, why are you so sleepy all the time?" And it's that no, I like need to rest. I need to sleep. And it makes me frankly like angry that I have to sleep as much as I do.
Sleep is important. And I think there's something like I want to add to the whole like not liking to sleep. My brain, like when I was saying how I don't fall asleep easily, I don't like going to sleep. My body is like, no. The reason why I only get like 6 to 7 hours like of sleep and my body knows that is because I can be in bed at 10:30 or 11:30 and my brain, my anxiety, any thoughts that I have will keep me up until at least 12:30.
I was gonna say I really like sleep, but it's really inconvenient. Like at the end of the day, like it just takes so much time. And like I'm someone who I love to spend all of my time after work working on projects. And so I really want to get to like a certain stage by the end of the night. And so it's a constant fight of I need to sleep. And also, I'm, like, right there, and then, like, that turns an extra half hour, an extra 45 minutes, and, like, it can be really hard on those days to actually, like, have that tell myself, "You are cut off, you cannot do this anymore, you have to sleep." So, I think to me, it's like I really like it, but it doesn't fit in my schedule the way I'd really like it to.
It's funny, I think when you're a kid, like you're like, I don't need to sleep, I am invincible, like sleep is for the weak, and then you get to be an adult and it's like, I want to sleep so bad, and then you realize like the effect that things like bedtimes or not having bedtimes can have on you. It's a whole mind warp there.
So I guess I would love to then know, what do you all do to get yourself to sleep or try to keep yourself asleep overnight? I know, Kat, you've already said you got some medications to help you on that front end. For me, I have kind of both. I have one for each thing. So for falling asleep, I have to listen to ASMRs every night. Part of it is because, Camera talking about those anxious thoughts. If I'm listening to something, like that's what I'm focused on. That's where my brain pulls attention. And then, like, it's specifically really relaxing sounds. So that helps kind of get you there. And then I found out that I usually have a like very small trouble getting to sleep, but it was always the staying asleep. And as soon as I added a weighted blanket into the equation, that went away. Like that is what keeps me asleep every night. And I know that it does because on the nights that it falls off when I'm sleeping, I am awake. So it has been like a game changer in getting me to stay asleep the full night.
Weighted blanket sounds so nice right now. I'm the kind of person who needs all of the pillows, the blankets. I don't have a weighted blanket, but that sounds like a dream to keep yourself going. I would like to relate. I listen to ASMR when I'm having a lot of anxious thoughts. It's like my pre-sleep routine once in a while. But as a child, like I've done this. Like I always need. I've always been afraid of silence, or not a fan of it. Not a fan of the dark. When I was a child, I would have a strobe light, one of those like disco ball strobe lights and jazz going until the neighbors said that was not cool to do in our suburban neighborhood in California. So strobe light went away, and I listened to smooth jazz until I got older, and now I listen to either the Calm app to some kind of nice, tranquil violin Lindsey Sterling or some kind of nice, just tranquil music. Or I've recently found out about Hertz frequencies, and I found them on YouTube or online. There's these really specific frequencies that they're good for mental health or good for just your energy. It's just a really nice kind of tone to fall asleep to, and that kind of gets me into a really calm state and makes me feel safe to fall asleep.
I am fascinated by people such as yourselves who who can fall asleep listening to things. Like the only thing I can have on is like I have to have a fan going. I can't deal with absolute silence, but I need a loud fan, and then I cannot fall asleep if I can see light. And I cannot go back to sleep if I see lights. I have a very thick Tempur-Pedic eye mask that I wear upside down because if I wear it the right side, it presses into my face and gives me sinus pressure, but if I wear it up, it's like perfect for migraine. Yes, and then I just want to say the reason I can fall asleep is thanks to my antidepressants. So this episode is brought to you by the mental health medications you need in life. JK.
I do want to say, like, one thing I did forgot that you just reminded me of is I do have blackout curtains because I'm the same way. I need, like, absolute darkness, and that's been the best solution because, like, I can't sleep with things on my face. So if I have the blackout curtains and the door closed, then all of that light is filtered out for me.
I feel like I use a bit of all the strategies you all have mentioned. Like as a kid, I would fall asleep to The Nanny on Nick at Night. I don't know why Fran Drescher's voice just like helped me go to sleep. And I agree that like antidepressant medication that's like made for sleep is I used then, I use now, and I don't know, I wouldn't get the same quality sleep without it. Then middle school, it was The Daily Show. Jon Stewart was my insomnia companion. And then in high school, I found that listening to either U2 or Rat-a-Tat on my iPod Nano really helped me get some good sleep. But to this day, I still need noise. Like now I listen to lighthearted like podcasts episodes that I've already heard before to help me fall asleep. Like I do need that noise. And I've also had a great time lately doing old New York Times crossword puzzles like on my phone to help me fall asleep because like everyone else said, it's nice to have something for like my thoughts to focus on, and it's something that brings me joy. So I'm like, okay, this is a good way to like wind down. There was a time though when if my like earbuds break or something, which they do if you wear earbuds to that they eventually short out, where I would have to sleep in complete silence. And I learned a great grounding technique to help me fall asleep. Then I pick a category of things such as breakfast cereal, and I go in alphabetical order and list a cereal that starts with each letter of the alphabet. So to help me fall asleep, we go, like Apple Jacks, Bran Flakes, and from there.
Well, I love how different all of our like sleep techniques are. So I really hope that anyone who's listening to this episode just has some ideas if they are having trouble getting to sleep as well. So if you want more conversations like this, subscribe to Mental Health Matters by going to bit.ly/mhinbox. That's bit.ly/mhinbox. We'll see you in our inbox. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.